These has-beens aren't done playing Fahrenheit 451. Yeah, before any podcast is dispersed, run it by these jackasses first. Their songs may be old and tired, but they still want Joe Rogan fired. So it's us or Joe, say the leftovers from AM radio, blasting Joe Rogan for misinformation, although they're old enough to die from constipation. That's a lot of rhyming. Wow. I couldn't make up my mind. So Harry Meg, what I call Prince Harry and his wife, apparently expressed concerns about COVID misinfo on Spotify, where they also have a podcasting deal. So far, that $25 million podcast deal resulted in just a single 30-minute episode. If I were Spotify, I'd express concerns about that. You know, you'd think they came from royalty. A spokesperson says the couple have continued to express concerns to Spotify to ensure changes to its platform, blah, 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 and address public health crises. Meanwhile, other washed-up artists have joined Neil Young, asking Spotify to pull their music in objection to Rogan, including Bruce Springsteen's guitarist, Nils Lofgren, a poor man's CC DeVille. Thank you. Nil is also the number of his songs anyone remembers. And there's the homeless cat lady, Joni Mitchell. For a quick refresh, let's hear her biggest hit.
Don't it always seem to go? Don't know what you got till it's gone. Maybe paradise, put up a parking lot.
Magical, I tell you. Anyway, Spotify has since announced they'll add a content advisory to any podcast that discusses COVID, which Rogan happily welcomed. They never make me stop. He also said this.
I want to thank Spotify for being so supportive during this time, and I'm very sorry that this is happening to them and that they're taking so much heat from it. And I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people. I do all the scheduling myself, and I don't always get it right. I am going to do my best in the future to balance things out, but my point of doing this is always just to create interesting conversations and ones that I hope people enjoy.
I just noticed what a perfectly oval-shaped head he has. But that wasn't even half as interesting as what Rogan discussed last week. Namely, the second best-looking person on tonight's panel.
I was walking through New York Times Square with Douglas Murray about a month ago, and we had gone to an opera. There's these people dressed up like superheroes. Spider-Man ran up to me, and he said, "Are you Jordan Peterson?" And I said, "Are you Spider-Man?" And that was pretty damn funny. And then Douglas Murray, we were walking by, and Douglas Murray said, "I wish he would have asked me if I was Douglas Murray." And so... He's got this sparkling sense of humor that goes along with his insane courage.
He's very courageous.
Murray, that guy's got a spine of steel.
He certainly does, and he backs it up with consideration and thought. He shuts people down in a pretty beautiful way.
And now I'm here.
Yes, yeah. Good directing there, guys.
Thank you for that.
Yes, my pleasure. You got quite a fan club there. What do you make of royalty?
Well, on principle, of course, I never say anything bad about any members of the royal family.
I mean,
but fortunately, they've left the royal family, so I can just say what I like. Look, I mean, nobody would say that Prince Harry is the smartest member of the family.
No.
Well,
he's definitely not the dumbest with Meg.
Well, I certainly wouldn't give either of them permission to decide what anyone can listen to. They have, as you said, managed to hoover up, what, 25 million from Spotify? And they've issued a great, typical, sort of very in-touch Sussex thing. If you're ever in doubt about anything, you should always think, what would the Duke and Duchess of Sussex
Exactly.
do? Get it tattooed on your knuckles if you forget. And, yeah, there's always, you see, they say that they're worried about misinformation. This is the great way in our era that you just shut up anything that is what we used to call asking questions. You say, oh, it's misinformation. Well, you know, what Joe Rogan does on his podcast is ask questions of people, and he listens to the answers. And now most of the mainstream media haven't done that in a long time. and he gives people long-form opportunities to talk, and he has scientists on for like 3 hours.
Right.
And, so far, Joe Rogan has done far more for public information than the Sussexes are likely to do, even if they live an awfully long time.
You are very, very right. And you bring up the point of the length, Kat. It's like 3 hours. I am a Joe Rogan fan. I can't even watch one podcast because I don't have the time. He does like 5 of them a week, 15 hours of content. I don't believe any of these people have, and I'm saying that as a fan. I watch maybe one. I don't believe any of these people have even watched or could find Joe Rogan on the podcast.
No, I don't think they have Googled him either.
Yeah.
Probably because he's had some vaccine skeptics on. He also had CNN's chief medical correspondent on.
Yeah.
In 2020, he also basically endorsed Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
He's not exactly Mr. MAGA, right?
Yeah.
So they're not canceling him for that.
Yeah.
They're trying to cancel him because he has had conversations with people they disagree with, which is in a remarkably low bar. There's nobody that would not be canceled under that.
No, it's
Doesn't
true.
make sense.
No, Sandra, why aren't Spotify has real issues with the royalty situation. They always have. And it's like, wouldn't you want to help your fellow musicians out? I mean, obviously, Joni Mitchell's wealthy. The other guy, Neil Young's wealthy. Wouldn't they want to help the rather than screwing everybody over? Wouldn't it make it more sense?
Well, you say fellow musicians, you just mean fellow famous people, and I wonder how long they speak out. You saw what happened to Spotify; went way down in value on this story.
Yeah.
Major head, I believe it's coming back because Wall Street's saying buy this. This is going to go away really fast. How long are those ex-royals really going to speak out against their big moneymaker for their household at this point? A lot to say about them, by the way. That country embraced them when I was there for the wedding. And I still don't know what it was other than Kate Middleton and jealousy. I don't know. But Harry is a sweetheart, and I wish that family could have. And they loved Meghan, and they embraced her, and I wish they would have stayed together. But wait, hold on. So Spotify, everybody cares about the bottom line. And I think if you heard Joe Rogan's apology there, I mean, that sounded very sincere to me. I hate what this has done to Spotify because he's worried about what.
No, he's good. That was a really good apology.
And by the way, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, we were talking about this in the green room. Go back and look at an edition they did of Helpless, singing together. I don't know, you might not think that they were of a sound mind. Like, they're putting themselves as the moral authority, the fact checkers of the universe, and trying to shut down Joe Rogan from asking questions. And I think there's a lot of people repeating what Joe Rogan does on that podcast without taking, as we have all in our homework, if you didn't listen regularly, taken the time to do. He is trying to get information, and he hears from a big range of voices, and that is fact.
By the way, I haven't heard a whole bunch of Joni Mitchell, but did you dub that?
That's actually one of her earlier, bigger hits. Back when, that was in. It was, I believe they called it Screech Rock.
I feel really bad for Joni Mitchell fans. Like, these women weren't depressed enough without getting roped into a COVID debate.
Yes.
It's like they were sitting at home deciding whether or not to adopt another cat, and now they're on the front lines of a friggin' war about COVID.
Yes.
And shame on these people because they clearly don't listen to his podcast.
Right.
And we've all kind of circled in. But what he does is he's smoking about a yard of weed an episode.
Exactly.
Having very deep, long conversations. They portray anyone who doesn't agree with him as some kind of a MAGA strongman, but he's the antithesis of that.
Right.
And that's the part that is so frustrating. But these musicians see this as a branding exercise. They want to come out and look virtuous like they're on the right side of this. But if we cared about misinformation, there's a label over every Fauci video you'd ever watch for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's also, misinformation is the new hate speech.
I think it goes to the sports world as well, Greg,
and
how we all just kind of, as fans, hungry for entertainment and, good viewing of sports and good listening of good music and the podcast, for gosh sake, we just kind of wish musicians would stay in there.
It'd be nice.
And
You're
not
not allowed to say
and not
that.
take
but
on
it's right.
politics.
Yeah.
And Harry and Meghan are just lazy to that point. They've given him one episode in 2 years. They're just trying to get out of work.
They're disgusting.
And I can't stand them. Just shut up. They're not even real Royals. They're like Kansas City Royals.
Oh, how dare you? Don't even
Backup
do not
outfielders.
bring George Brett into this conversation.
The only way he wears the crown is if he has a birthday at Burger King. Like, get over yourself.
Yes.
Shut up.
They let anyone wear those crowns.
That is true.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.